To our chief guest, who is representing the Director General, Kenya Wildlife Service, the Director, Director Community Section, the representative of the Director IPR, Dr. Atunga, other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I want just to give you a brief remarks about why this day is important before I can usher other people to talk about primates. Today, we are celebrating the International Primates Day, and it's normally celebrated on 1st September of every year. And in December 14th, we'll be celebrating the World Monkey Day. The difference is primates include, the International Primate Day focuses on all animals that in layman language look like humans. But in that group, we have what we call grape apes, or we have the genus Homo, which is the humans. We have the apes, where we have the orangutans, which are found in Indonesia. There are gibbons, which also occur in Asia. We have the chimps. Kenya, we have chimps, but we are not native country for chimps. We have bonobos in the West Africa. And then we have the gorillas. Those are like the greater primates. Then we have the monkeys, and under the group category monkeys, we have the New World monkeys. These are the monkeys which occur in South America and that part of the continent. Then we have the New World monkeys, which occur mainly in Africa. And they include, the African primates include also the prosimians, or the lesser primates. These include things like galagos, the potos, among others. So that is the kind of primates we have globally. And when it comes to Africa, we actually have almost the monkeys, the apes, and the prosimians represented. The International Primates Day is actually dedicated to raise awareness of primates, issues to do with their welfare, and also to address the problem of the risk which they are facing, which is actually the extinction threat. Globally, we have about 504 different species of primates. Among those, 111 are found in Africa. Among the 111 primates in Africa, Kenya supports 19 species and more than 27 subspecies. So globally, or in Africa, Kenya holds about 17 to 24% of the primate diversity. So being a range country, a primate range country, there is no way we can overlook the importance of conserving primates. Then the next question is, why primates matter? Why do we think they are important? First, primates remain one of the most studied animal taxons in the mammalian kingdom. And I'm very sure the academicians are here. There is nothing which guides life on Earth like the theory of natural selection or evolutionary theory. You cannot talk more about that and actually giving reference to humans without talking about primate behavior, anatomy, and many other stuff. So they are very important in informing our intellectual knowledge when it comes to evolution, and more so to us as humans. Secondly, we uphold a lot of importance to our heritage, which is the biodiversity. So primates constitute a very important component of our ecosystems. And in those ecosystems, they play play a very important roles. The first being pollination, another being seed dispersal. And they also act as predators and prey, which is very important when it comes to ecological balance. We all come from different communities, and I'm very sure if I was to ask how many people associate, or their tribes, or their communities, or their clans associate with primates, I will get a significant number saying that this is what we believe in our culture in relation to primates. So in other words, we normally identify ourselves, our cultures actually entrench primates as one of the elements which we uphold to express our cultural ways of living. The other thing is religion. We have like the Lagas in India. They live in temples, and they become important part of the religion. Another thing which is very important is trying to understand diseases. I can't emphasize what Dr. Tunga said about the information we get on trying to understand the disease transmission and different diseases and how they manifest in our bodies through use of primates. It's ethically not really a good thing. It's challenged by many animal welfare issues, but we cannot dig our heads under the sun and in the sun and say that they don't inform our health component. They are very important. So I can go on and on, because I think primate matters a lot to us as Homo sapiens. Back to the reason why we have to commemorate this day. Out of the 504 species we have globally, over 65% are facing serious threat of extinction. 75% of these species have recorded a sharp declining population. As a country, we cannot just sit, just wait, and see our species disappear. Sir, from the Kenya Wildlife Service, as the custodian of our wildlife, and actually as the chief guest to this event, I want to mention that, unfortunately, Kenya might be the first country in Africa, if not second, to lose a primate species. And this is the southern Patas monkey. The southern Patas monkey used to occur in Amboseli and Chulu Hills. The last sightings were between 1992 and 1996. Thanks to one of the key primatologists in the country, Tom Botwinski and Yvonne Dion, who have been following on this species. And they published an article pointing that southern Patas monkey might be declared extinct in Kenya. The good side of the story is we have populations in our neighbors, Tanzania. So from where we sit as conservation partners, it's the high time for us as a country to rise up and see whether we can do a population recovery of that species. So as a country, we are steering a gloomy future if we don't arise and enhance our conservation efforts. Among the 19 species that occur in Kenya as a range country of primates, 50% are categorized as seriously threatened, either by our national listing criteria or by the IUCN. So that again emphasizes on the need for us as stakeholders. It doesn't matter where you are working on, but if you are supporting conservation and you care about the heritage of this country, we have to stem our conservation efforts to save these species. Again, let me give credit to our national custodian of Kenya, of our wildlife, Kenya Wildlife Service. Last year, we conducted a national wildlife census. One of the components was primate. And we focused in the lower Tana River, where we have 2 primate species: the Tana River red colobus and the Tana River mangabe. it's very surprising the way we as a country, we don't like accord the status, the appropriate status of these primates, since they are actually categorized among the top 25 world most endangered primates. Because of that, with the efforts of Kenyan primatologists, I also want to bring to your attention that we've developed the Continental Red Colobus Action Plan, which actually includes the Tana River Red Colobus, but unfortunately, because of the challenges that we are facing in terms of funding and also in terms of expertise, we've not captured the critical requirements of this species to ensure its long-term sustainable survival. And in that case, again, let me say that I'm very grateful to Kenya Wildlife Service through efforts of Linus and Solomon. We are actually working towards establishing a technical committee which is going to develop a national action plan which is going to address the needs of those two primate species. I would actually urge Kenya Wildlife Service actually as the leadership in this process also to fasten it so that we have something in place to address these species in, at a national level. Another species I want to bring to the attention of people who love primates is the Kilimanjaro ngureza. Kilimanjaro ngureza used to be a subspecies of the black and white colobus monkey, which we saw here. But because of its regional distribution, and again, through the efforts of Tom Buddhist, it's actually now categorized as a fully fledged species, which is also threatened. We only have less than 200 individuals in this country. Again, this species only occurs in Kitobo Forest, which is a very small forest, and Oloitoktok Forest. We have to do something to make sure that we don't lose the last population we have in this country. The mountain portal, which is one of the lesser primates, which is thought to occur in Mount Kenya, is also considered endangered. But unfortunately, we don't have enough data to know how it's distributed, the numbers, and how the future of the species looks like. So again, we have a gap there which we have to address. And also, generally, the lesser primates, these are the galagos, which are less than 3 kgs and below. We have very limited information about it. One of the major challenges with this is lack of expertise. If I was to ask people who are practicing primatologists in this congregation here to raise up their hands, probably you'll have less than 5 people. So as a country, we also need to move with speed, provide mentorship, and build the critical mass of primatologists to address the problems of our country. So overall, as a country, we are facing crisis in terms of saving our primates from extinction. So for us to excel, we need to do the following. 1, habitat fragmentation loss remains the primary threat to primate survival. Thanks to Kenya Wildlife Service, again, Kenya Forestry Service, Friends of Karuli, NEMA, and many other stakeholders in conservation who are actually working so hard to ensure that we increase our forest cover as the key primate forest habitats. So we have to address that problem. Like, we have to minimize forest loss and increase forest cover. Today, actually, we want to launch tree planting in all key primate ecosystems to ensure that we increase the habitat size for primates and revert the problem of habitat loss. So I would urge all the institutions present here to take up that role and ensure that we create more space, more habitat for the primates. So as a country, I think we are doing the right thing. And as we commemorate this great day for primates, our closest cousins, I want to challenge everybody. We are like our late Wangari Maathai, she said, like, Mother Nature is not very forgiving. I want yourself to ask yourself a question. What am I doing to save maybe the last ant species, which we have not even defined? What am I doing to save the last standing tree in the forest near you? What is that you're doing to save the last drop of the river that flows close to your home? And if you have answers to that, and if you do something towards that effort, I think we are not only going to save the primate, but the entire biodiversity. And we'll make this place a better place for us all to live, and we'll free ourselves from the slavery of the problems that are being brought by environmental degradation and unwantonly destruction of our forest habitat. And with those remarks, I wish to stop there. And probably, like Mercy said, we had a webinar talk and a panel discussion on primates on 30th of this month. And this was to create awareness about primates, because that's one of the other problems that we are saving. And I want to appreciate the efforts of Nature Kenya, who actually hosted us and planned the event for us. So I would request Richard, or the representative from the Nature Kenya, maybe to make remarks and also say something in terms of what they are also doing in terms of saving primates. Thank you so much.